As the name suggests, the best years of the protagonists of Has-Been Heroes are far behind them. That's probably at least partly why this new roguelike from the makers of Trine is so freakishly hard at times, to the point that its frustrations overwhelm its otherwise good ideas. The story is largely silly stuff best left in the background, although it's possible to get a few chuckles out of the idea that these once legendary warriors are now stuck escorting princesses to school. The cartoony cutscenes and brightly colored settings do a fine job of complementing that silliness, although it's a shame there's almost none of the fantastic, memorable background landscapes of the Trine series. But Trine's spirit does live on a bit in Has-Been Heroes' tricky gameplay. Much of its appealing strategy hinges on the fact that you're technically playing all three heroes at once, using one of the weaker characters to whittle down an enemy's stamina pool, and then switching them out with a more powerful one to slice off their health once it's exposed. It's a tough and usually exciting juggling match, and taking a moment to figure out whose attack should follow next is so important that Has-Been Heroes automatically pauses after every melee strike. It'd be entirely unmanageable without it. The maps randomize with each new game, and they're populated with vendors and hidden chests that should be explored for new devastating spells or items that augment your heroes. For several hours, these exploratory jaunts generally provide enough fun to soften Has-Been Heroes' rougher edges. But one of those rough edges is that Has-Been Heroes is brutal, even for a roguelike, and because of thin tutorials, even getting past the prologue could take hours if the conditions aren't right. Even once you master regular battles, you might be caught unprepared for the bosses, which can one-shot you or overrun you with enemies. And of course, in true roguelike fashion, once one hero dies, you're back to square one and you have to start all over again, fighting through the same repetitive hordes of skeletal enemies. More early game variety might have made this a little less tedious. Despite its frustrations and difficulty spikes, Has-Been Heroes has some good ideas in play. Eventually though, the frustrations of repetition, the poor tutorial, and the tendency to overrun you with tough enemies means there's a little too much stick and not enough carrot to make it as addictive as the best roguelikes. For all your video game reviews, keep it right here on IGN.